Running through my mind all day, waiting for her show to play. Turn your radio on, she's gonna play your favorite song.
Hi, I am Brandi Richard Thompson, and this is Operation Growth. Here we will examine how to grow through what you go through. Let's grow together. Growth is defined as a stage or condition in increasing, developing, or maturing. And yet, many of us look at personal growth as a low priority behind the rest of our lives. Behind the cooking and cleaning, the child rearing, behind the spouse supporting, behind making a living, behind surviving. However, your personal growth underpins all of that. Your growth determines your trajectory, your forward and upward progress in every area of your life. There are researchers who believe you either have a growth or a fixed mindset. The Harvard Business Review says that individuals who believe their talents can be developed through hard work, good strategies, and input from others have a growth mindset. They tend to achieve more than those with more of a fixed mindset, those who believe their talents are innate gifts. I believe that growth mindset can improve how we work with teams and how you view yourself as you develop as a human. A growth mindset can be extremely beneficial and open you up to a fuller life free from the rigidity of fixed thinking and ideals. However, I also believe that we have innate and beautifully unique talents and gifts that will flourish as we grow them. And I encourage you to grow them. Yet my concern with the idea of a fixed or growth mindset is less about the definitions of each and more about the idea that we are all actively choosing to have one or the other. I believe your mindset is based on your current experience. You either have time to develop or you don't. You have either been exposed to ways you can improve and develop or you have not. And most importantly, you either understand the value of your own personal growth and development or you just don't. So many of us just don't know what we don't know, which brings me to one of my favorite icons, Oprah Winfrey. Until the Oprah Winfrey Show, so much of what we discuss around personal development and growth was not available to the masses. Would we know how to meditate? Would we know if we were calling in the wrong spirits or energy? Would we have downloaded an app to meditate with Deepak Chopra? Would we have met the late Wayne Dyer? Would we have fixed our lives with Iyanla or learned from Marianne Williamson? I would say no. Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake and Donahue, Geraldo, Bertice Berry, but you didn't remember that one. None of them brought this focus on self-improvement to us so vividly. I found Oprah because I regularly watched Bozo the Clown on WGN. There was a haze of TV initiated by Bozo the Clown and the desire to get small ping pong balls into 10 buckets. And then I remember Oprah asking questions of guests from her perch in the audience. It felt like she was asking the questions I wanted to ask. And ever so often, she would reveal something about herself that I could relate to or had experienced. I was hooked. I trusted her to show me her world and what she knew in a way that made sense to me and helped me to be better. And then I asked my parents about it and my friends, and we all started talking about new topics and sharing our experiences. One day I asked my mom if I was depressed. The look on her face almost made me think she was not also watching Oprah. And then later I came back and asked to go to therapy. I wasn't aware that therapy was so taboo. Well, no, I actually was. But since Oprah said it, it must be a good idea after all. Someone in there was the beginning of the questioning that would lead me to Operation Growth.
Operation Growth is a book that I wrote about my life and about the hero's journey that I felt like I was on. And after watching Eat, Pray, Love and some of these other stories about women overcoming challenges and being able to travel all over the world, figure out what they wanted to have in their lives and really just try different things. I thought about what I had already done in my life and realized that I had overcome so many different challenges to get to where I was. And I didn't have to travel all over the world to overcome them. Sometimes African American women in particular, Black girls with tons of magic, do magical things every day. And I wanted to be able to highlight the actual process, the funny process, the tearful process that it took to get from really not having a voice to fully embracing my own voice. It's really important for people to know that I'm not there yet. I'm still in the process of growing, but I'm working on it, and I work on it every day, and I'm way better today than I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year. I meditate, I pray, I spend time getting to know myself, taking care of myself. I understand that as African American people, and as Black women in particular, we are going to continue to have trauma. Someone's going to get shot. Something's going to go on at work. You're going to experience racism. You're going to experience sexual trauma and violence. And I talk about all of these things in the book, but because those things happen, that doesn't mean you have to be leveled. You can still rise, and you can still be happy, and you can still find joy, and you can still smile, and you can still have wonderful women come and sit at a table with you and talk about all those things and laugh. That is life, and that's living, and that's what Operation Growth is all about.
For the purposes of our work together and this show, we will discuss growth as active personal development. Active personal development. Everyone, especially you, has the capacity to grow, and everyone can choose to do so whenever they desire. My personal mission is to change the trajectory of the world now, in this moment, with you. I believe if I can help you grow and get better, it will rub off on those around you. Your kids will be better, your parents, your colleagues. So I am thrilled you are here. Join the Operation Growth Institute this month and every month for Black History Every Month, the history of Black people in America, 1619 to 2021. Receive the Black history education you did not receive in school. Each year during Black History Month, we try to cram 400 plus years of history in 1-hour programs, highlighting the accomplishments of a few without providing the proper context. So join us for an informative overview that you can use to build your knowledge of the history of Black people in America. This class is open to all. So let's get into it. When I read Eat, Pray, Love, I learned about the hero's journey for the first time in my life. Granted, I may have heard about it in school. However, the idea that I could be the hero in my own story sounded like the kind of thing I wanted to do. So I brought all my friends together for a movie outing to see the movie version. As it ended, I ran outside yelling with glee. Elizabeth Gilbert had captured the essence of my own journey at the time. I wanted to figure out what I truly wanted and travel all over the world to find it. I was a bit low on cash and unable to leave home for months and travel across the world. But the book provided clarity on how I could begin to sort through what I most wanted and pursue it. It also solidified the idea that women can be their own heroes. I realized I didn't need anyone to save me. I could, in fact, save myself. Once I finished breaking up with the person I was dating at the time, I started piecing together what my hero's journey was. I also started seeing the hero's journey in other stories. Let me define it for you. It's the structure of almost every story you have ever watched or heard. It starts with the ordinary world. Then there is a call to adventure, and then a refusal of the call. Then there's a meeting of a mentor or a sage. Then the hero is ready to act on his call and go make it happen. That's called crossing the threshold. Then there are tests. The hero meets other people, enemies, allies, etc. Then the hero must go to the cave where there is danger. But just before the hero goes into the cave, she experiences the agony of, shouldn't I? Isn't this just stupid? Maybe I should return to my ordinary life. Then the hero must face the wicked version of herself or conquer the terrible relationship or the evil dragon. When the dust settles, the hero gets the reward. And then the hero journeys home where she began with her reward. That journey is also very eventful. And just when you thought the suspense and peril was over, the hero must battle for everyone, the planet, the universe, using what she learned through her journey. In the end, after the world is saved or the hero fails miserably, she still returns even better than when she started her journey. The hero has done her work. We leave the show or the movie theater inspired. Hopefully, you all don't leave screaming intentions like I did. Now, if you were to look closely at the hero's journey, there are lessons that we can all learn. The world was fine until someone or something shared an insight or a piece of new information. It could be that the world was fine until something happened that triggered the hero to go in search of new information. But whatever that start to the hero's journey was, there's an impetus to move to a new iteration, a new vision of that hero's life. And what's important to know about that is that we all experience the hero's journey in our own lives. We set off on a certain course. We create a world that for us is our ordinary. And then at some point, something happens. There's a disappointment or a shift or an event that causes us to rethink this world that we hold so dear. Our views, our opinions, our belief systems that have been formed over years, that maybe there's something different that we should embrace, something new we should aspire to, something that's been hidden that we have an opportunity to see. And so through the hero's journey of our own lives, we're able to not only see that there's another way, but decide whether or not we're going to act on it. Sometimes we retreat back and decide, nope, I want to stay in the ordinary world. Sometimes the mentor nudges us along. The sage, the person with so much wisdom that we met along the way, says, hey, you really need to come out of this. And after additional thought, sometimes we cross the threshold into the cave and actually fight the dreaded demon or the area of our life that we've hidden for so long. It's what Operation Growth is about. It's what the book that I wrote is about, and what you can do in your own life to look back at your hero's, heroine's journey. Determine where along the way you strayed, you started towards the new iteration and maybe want to circle back and go after that new iteration again. Where you have an opportunity to grow. And those pivotal points, those moments in your life where that happens, sometimes are failures, sometimes are stressful situations, sometimes are debilitating in nature. But it's the occurrence that forces you to look inward, that forces you to think again about what has transpired and what you really want your life to be. And so I encourage you to lean in to those moments, to take the opportunity to analyze repeating occurrences in your life, points where you've fallen, had some type of an issue, and decide if there are any themes, any ways of being in each of those situations in your life that you want to change, that you would like to shift when that situation comes up for you again, so that you can not only reap the reward, but be able to take that reward back to your ordinary world and help other people. You never know what you learn from your own heroes and heroines' journey might save the world, may help additional people to change their trajectory, to move them upward into their own version of growth or becoming, or the realization of who they really want to be in the world. Look at your story. Look at your hero's journey and decide.
You can't punish people for mistakes, you know? And it's like, you have to forgive people. And a big part of that, you know, is forgiving yourself. We don't forgive ourselves for stuff, and it makes it impossible for us to forgive other people. That last time with Daddy-O, I just learned what love is. Love is not punishing people and beating on them for what they did and hanging on to that trifling shit, you know, that they did to you. And it's like getting out of being a victim, you know. And Daddy-O and his death purified my heart in a way that I love life. Like, I love the opportunity to be better. I love the opportunity to work with people to find their way. And he helped me cultivate like an emotional invincibility. To love and to be loved is really all there is. And everything else needs to be set up to support that. You know, when you see things and you read things in the press and you don't understand exactly what's going on, just know that everybody in my life and everybody on my side and in my team and my wife and my ex and my children, what you're watching is an experiment in unconditional love.
As you just witnessed, Will Smith has been on his own hero's journey, not just in films, but in his life. He's used what he learned to repair his relationship with his father before he passed, and he shares a beautiful and honest portrayal in his memoir, Will. I highly recommend this book. And Will Smith, we applaud your growth. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, active personal development is a way of life. I asked God to grow, and he said, here you go. And I hope my growth has helped you. This is Brandi Richard Thompson, signing off for now. I'll see you next Sunday here on Operation Growth. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know if you have an Operation Growth moment that you would like us to feature right here on the Operation Growth Show. Use hashtag Operation Growth and tag us at Brandi Richard Thompson or at Operation Growth. We get stories from all over the place, and we would love to hear from you.
Join us next week on Operation Growth, where we will discuss the importance of Black history. As we enter Black History Month, we'll continue the conversation about our stories as we discuss the importance of knowing the stories of your ancestors and those who came before you. So join us next week, Sunday, February 6th at 10 o'clock. See you then. The Operation Growth Show is looking for guests just like you. So if you're interested in sharing your expertise, or you're interested in sharing your product or service right here on the Operation Growth Show, let us know. We'd love to work with you.